Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Okay, so today I'm going to present the journal review about body image dissatisfaction as a risk factor for postpartum depression. First, let me introduce myself. I am Lelani Yessika Putri, student number 26. I'm from Surabaya Health Polytechnic of Ministry of Health. I'm majoring in midwifery. Okay, so today there are 4 points that I'm going to explain. The first is introduction, second is materials and methods, third is result, and also the last is conclusion. Okay, so next is introduction. In this introduction, I'm going to explain about the definition of postpartum depression and also body image. Okay, postpartum depression described as a depressive symptoms in women during the first postpartum year. It is characterized by negative mood, decreased activity and social behavior, low energy and motivation, reduced spontaneous experiences, ideas, and pleasurable activities, and is associated with an increase in self-harm and even suicidal behavior. Next is definition of body image. So, body image is defined as the way a person perceives him or herself, as well as the perception of how others see us. During pregnancy, considered a rather complex process, women experience changes, both physically, such as weight gain, changes in skin pigmentation, hyperflexibility of joints, changes in cardiovascular, digestive, and respiratory systems, and also psychologically, such as risk of low self-esteem, demotivation, anxiety, and stress. And women may pay more attention to these transformations occurring in their own body, which could lead to a negative perception of it, and therefore to an increase in dissatisfaction with their body image. In Ruang study, a positive relationship between anxiety and body dissatisfaction was reported. This background may indicate that pregnancy is a time when women present themselves as highly sensitive in terms of both their body and emotions, with body dissatisfaction appearing as a common factor. The next part is materials and methods. So in this study, there were 3 instruments that were used to collect data. The first instrument was socio-demographic data, and the other 2 instruments were Edinburgh Personality Depression Scale or EPDS and Body Shape Questionnaire or PSQ. Edinburgh Personality Depression Scale or EPDS was a questionnaire that was used to detect or identify depression in the mothers. Meanwhile, Body Shape Questionnaires or PSQ was a self-report questionnaire that was used to measure the concerns of body shape. And in addition to those tests, the authors also took quantitative and qualitative variables. Quantitative variables contained age and number of children, meanwhile, qualitative variables contained marital status, level of education, employment status, socio-economic status, family model, history of mental health, feeding of the newborn, support person or immediate family member, weight loss diet, physical activity, self-perception of health status, type of delivery, and whether stitches were used in the delivery or not. This journal also had dependent and independent variables. Dependent variables contained depression and body image dissatisfaction, meanwhile independent variables were all the variables that show statistical significance in the bivariate analysis. Next is the result. So based on this research, it was found that body dissatisfaction was positively correlated with postpartum depression. And based on the result, there were some variables that could cause body image dissatisfaction and lead into higher risk of postpartum depression. So here are the variables. The first variable is level of education. It was found that the higher the level of education, the higher the level of depression and body dissatisfaction, because high educated women tend to have higher expectation of themselves. So when they could not reach those expectations, they could be dissatisfied of themselves and also experience postpartum depression. The second variable is employment status. Women who are unemployed or engaged in household care had higher EPDS and BSQ score. So, based on a study, it was said that working is a protective factor. So, when the women were working, they were associated with lower depression symptomatology compared to women who were unemployed. The third variable is socioeconomic status. Low economic status is correlated with higher levels of depression. And based on the present study, women with low economic status are also more dissatisfied with their body image and they tend to experience those depressions. The fourth variable is history of mental health. Women with a history of anxiety and or depression are more likely to develop postpartum depression and also more dissatisfied with their body image. The fifth variable is feeding of newborn. Women who did not breastfeed were more dissatisfied with their body image. So basically, when the women are pregnant, they will accumulate fats on their bodies as the source of energy for the mothers and the babies. And when the babies were born, they will breastfeed their babies, and the breastfeeding helps them to eliminate those excess fats on their bodies, and they will experience natural weight loss through breastfeeding process. So when the women don't breastfeed their babies, they will lose the chance to experience that natural weight loss through breastfeeding process, and as the result, they tend to have a slower progress of weight loss. And because they can't go back to their ideal bodies as fast as they expected, they will be dissatisfied with their bodies, and also they will experience postpartum depression because they can't go back to their ideal bodies and they are not satisfied with that. The sixth variable is support from the person or family member. Basically, postpartum women needs a lot of support. So when the women lack of support from their relative or family members, they will experience higher levels of depression, and also they become more dissatisfied with their body image as well. The seventh variable is weight loss diet. Women gain weight with pregnancy, and after childbirth, they are most concerned about losing this excess weight. Women who were on a weight loss diet had more postpartum depression and were more dissatisfied with their body image. The eighth variable is type of delivery. Women with cesarean section had higher levels of postpartum depression and more dissatisfaction with their body image. Like what we have known in this society, women who experienced cesarean section were considered as imperfect mothers because they were not experienced those normal delivery like the other women. And because of that stereotypes, they had higher social pressure of themselves, and they could be dissatisfied with their bodies and also with themselves, and it could lead into a higher risk of postpartum depression. Okay, next is the conclusions. Based on this research, we can conclude that postpartum depression or PPD is a disorder that depends on many variables. The results obtained in this study reveal that dissatisfaction with body image directly affects PPD. It is necessary to promote a positive attitude towards body image and provide women with the necessary tools to improve their body image in the postpartum period, thus reducing the risk of suffering postpartum depression. And it is important for pregnant women to be informed through their healthcare providers of everything related to their physiological and anatomical changes that occur during pregnancy and the postpartum period. This will allow them to gradually adapt to the transformation that their bodies will undergo, understanding why they are necessary and transitory and in the end natural. Okay, here is the original source of journal that I used in this presentation. You can see it in the screen. Yes, that is my presentation. Thank you for your attention. I hope my explanation will help everyone to understand better about the correlation between body image dissatisfaction and postpartum depression in women. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.